The moment she looked into my eyes and told me, without flinching, that he meant more than I ever could, I didn't flinch either. No outburst, no storm of anger, no trembling fists or desperate tears. Just silence. I stood there, a man turned to stone, watching the same woman who once whispered dreams into my ear under the soft hush of midnight, now stand beside a man whose smile had always overstated welcome. She stared at me like I was a chapter long since closed, a story she'd outgrown. And when she had the audacity to demand I apologize to him, and then calmly announced that we were done, something strange happened. A stillness took over me, not rage, not heartbreak, just a quiet, eerie calm, like the air after a storm when the world feels too quiet. 3 years married. 6 years of shared breath and borrowed time. We had crafted something together, something like music, not always perfect, not always in tune, but there was harmony. There was laughter, and I believed it. I believed in us. Then came him, her so-called best friend, the kind of man who held her too long when he hugged her, who stared at her lips instead of her eyes when she talked. I noticed. Of course I noticed, but I said nothing. I didn't want to become the jealous husband cliché. I didn't want to seem insecure or possessive. But there's a scent of betrayal. It clings to the air. It rots quietly, and he reeked of it. It wasn't a single act that cut me open. It was a slow erosion, the death by 1,000 cuts, a mounting weight of tiny, hidden wounds, the laptop snapping shut when I walked into the room, the hushed late-night conversations buried behind locked screens, the message I wasn't meant to see, asterisk, you're my sanctuary, forever, asterisk the sudden passcode on her phone, the matching bracelet she laughed off, the unexplained hotel charge he waved away as a mistake. Still, I said nothing. I swallowed each betrayal like poison, convincing myself that naming the wounds would make them hurt less. I tried to be understanding, tried to trust, but trust is fragile, and I was bleeding inside. The breaking point came unexpectedly. A fight, one of many, spiraled into something raw, something irreversible, and in the middle of it all, I looked into his eyes. That smug grin, the kind that told me the war was already lost. She's already picked me, he said, with that same twisted smirk. And she had, without hesitation, without a flicker of guilt. She stood beside him, like I was a ghost in the home I built, a stranger in my own life. That night, I walked away, left behind the keys, the house, the memories, the life we had stitched together with laughter and tears. I gave her silence. For days of complete stillness. She called. She messaged. She cried outside my door. But silence has a voice all its own. It speaks in echoes and emptiness. While she unraveled, I investigated. Quietly, coldly, a friend at her bank confided in me. She had been moving money for months. $18,000, tucked away into a secret account. Her escape plan had been in motion long before the final blow. But she never expected me to be the one to walk away. I let her friends believe the story she fed them, that I was paranoid, unstable, broken. I let the lie take root. Their mistake became my advantage. And then Jason. Even saying his name left a bitter taste in my mouth. A real estate agent with a forked tongue. Years ago, during a property deal, he'd cost me thousands with forged documents and deceit. I had reported him, quietly, strategically, and ruined his career without ever revealing my hand. He never knew who pulled the strings back then. And now, he was in my kitchen, in my bed, in the life I had poured myself into. This wasn't just infidelity. This was war. A vendetta resurrected in my own home. An old enemy returned, wrapped in charm, cloaked in betrayal. But this time, I wouldn't be silent forever. I began with leverage. Cold, quiet, and calculated. Her bank account was child's play. Asterisk Melody 04 asterisk. Her usual password. A song she used for everything from Wi-Fi to secrets. Within hours, I traced every cent she'd moved, tracked each late-night message, every transfer to that hidden account. I assembled it all, painstakingly neat, into a digital dossier I titled Loyalty. It wasn't rage that guided me. It was precision, focus. Next, I turned my gaze toward him. Jason, the man with the crooked smile and the past he tried to bury. Through a well-placed contact in property law, I uncovered that he dipped back into the same dirty waters, fraud, again. I posed as a buyer, baiting him into a deal, and he took it like always, thinking himself untouchable. I recorded everything, doctored listings, falsified values, misleading appraisals, his lies, captured word for word. Then I sent it all out, each forged page and manipulated document, to his past victims and the licensing board. No warning, just the truth, delivered like a scalpel. By the fourth day, she was at my door, pleading, broken. I opened it, let her in. I even offered her comfort. Arms that had once held her in love now offered her a final kindness before goodbye. And then I handed her the file. Loyalty. She opened it, her fingers trembling as her eyes scanned the truth. Everything I knew, every thread unraveled. The color drained from her face, like a painting left out in the rain. And I told her I wouldn't destroy her. That wasn't the goal. But the price for my mercy was silence. No alimony, no division of assets, no drawn-out war in court, just a quiet exit. She didn't argue, just nodded, her pride swallowed, and walked out a life she once ruled. A queen without a crown. Jason called next, loud, angry, foaming with threats and desperation. I let him vent, then offered a meeting, a neutral ground, a diner, empty and stale with coffee and broken dreams. He arrived smug as always, chest puffed, full of bravado. I was calm, cold, ready. I slid a flash drive across the table. 12 cases, victim statements, forged contracts, licensing violations, his entire fraudulent empire, exposed and vulnerable. I looked him in the eyes and spoke quietly. You'll be lucky if you're allowed to sell used furniture after this hits. And for the first time, his smirk faltered. Color left his face like ink washing from paper. I leaned in, voice lower now, like a whisper soaked in venom. She was never yours, just a firecracker looking for flame. And now she's burnt you too. I stood, walked away. No more words. No final glance. 6 months have passed. She's living with her sister now. Jason's license revoked again, reputation in ashes. From what I hear, whatever fantasy they built together has collapsed. They've gone their separate ways. Blame and bitterness their only souvenirs. People still ask how I stay so calm. Why I never screamed, never fought publicly, never fell apart. But revenge doesn't thrive in rage. That kind of fire burns too hot and too fast. No, real vengeance is born in clarity, in stillness. And I found mine the moment she looked me in the eye and said he mattered more. She was right. He did matter more to her. But to me, he was nothing, just a ghost passing through. And I do not chase ghosts.